So yesterday we saw the Lakers and the Nets play. I want to talk about this game. I want to talk about what I saw, and I want to talk about the game, and its specifics and what it holds. This was one of the biggest preseason games as we saw LeBron James for the first time. In the Lakers' first preseason game against the Warriors, LeBron didn't play, obviously, as he's old and they want to rest him as much as possible. But now for preseason, we get to see the fact that LeBron was playing. LeBron actually, made the game, and even though he only played 17 minutes, we could see that he played pretty well. LeBron just went out there basically to show himself off. He had some moments, but you could tell that he wasn't really taking the game seriously as he was shooting a lot of jump shots, having more fun. There was even a play where he went in the air to shoot a mid-ranger, and then he passed it off in the middle of the air, so you could tell he was more trying to, assist and play make than trying to get the defense involved. He ended up with 10 points, a block, a steal, 5 assists, and 3 rebounds with 3 turnovers and 2 fouls, granted. But really, it wasn't LeBron James's game. These stars come out in preseason just so they can actually, show the fans, like, hey, this is what I look like. You could see me, and I'm going to play limited amount of minutes so that I don't get injured or to not put that much, straight on my body. With the Brooklyn Nets, this game focused mostly on them coming out, what is their starting lineup, and what is Ben Simmons going to do. For the Lakers, focusing on them right now, I'll talk about the Nets later. They looked very good. They looked very cohesive as they shot 36% from three, and LeBron shot terribly from three. Meanwhile, a guy like, Gabe Vincent shot 2 of 7 from three. So you could tell that even with two guys, and Max Christie shooting 1 of 6 from three, and D. Hudge shooting 0 of 4 from three, and Jalen Hood-Schifino shooting 0 of 3 from three. So you could tell that even with these guys who had a collective record of around maybe, there were guys who shot so horribly, and there were about 23s which were shot and missed, right, completely. Then we could see that even though these guys are playing this way, their good players are making their shots. The fact that they ended up with 36% 3-point percentage shows that even though they shot a lot of threes, they were able to make a good amount of them. They missed 35 threes and they shot 55, so they made 20. We could see guys who stood out in this game being Taurean Prince, catching a lot of passes from LeBron, hitting threes, and just overall looking like he's gonna have a starting role this season, right? Or maybe just a real seventh man role. We saw a guy like Austin Reeves just show out, hit 4 of 6 from three, drop 18 points, 2 assists, and 2 rebounds. And then off the bench, we saw a guy like Rui Hachimura, which for this season he looks phenomenal. Really put in the work, getting 19 points and assists and 5 rebounds. And with this game, we really saw just a bunch of guys step up for the Lakers. We saw that Jackson Hayes was absolutely phenomenal, as in 21 minutes of playtime, he got 8.7 rebounds and a plus 12 plus minus. And there were basically just a lot of guys in the Lakers which contributed to their victory, right? Obviously, there weren't a lot of guys who played a lot of minutes because it's a preseason game and they were trying to just play a lot of their players, especially their bad ones. But we could see a guy even like D'Angelo Russell who hit 4 or 5 from three, dropped 14 points, and he only played 16 minutes. So when we look at this team, we could see that it's obvious that as soon as they figure out how they're going to run their roster, it's going to be very good. And the way that they're working in, a culture and a starting group, and the way that they're figuring it all out together really makes me happy. Jared Vanderbilt didn't even play this game, And we could see that there were guys in the end of the bench who'd probably never play even close to the amount of minutes that they played in a regular game. They were playing like 15 minutes, 8 minutes, and actually having real minutes this game. With the Nets, they obviously are a younger team, which has more players who can play more minutes. But with guys like Cam Thomas, Ben Simmons, and all of these guys went crazy. I want to talk about Ben Simmons a lot as he hit an and one. He shot 50% from the field. He shot 4 of 6 from the field and 2 of 4 from 3. And he had 3 assists and 10 points. And that was his first preseason game. And he looked phenomenal out there. It really put a smile on my face to see Ben Simmons actually with this newfound confidence, being able to go out there and really show people what he's at, and being able to really tell people like, hey guys, I was not kidding. I'm not Luka saying that he's gonna get skinny. I am not, I'm not Giannis saying that I'm gonna get showing that I'm working on my shooting, or Jimmy Butler. I'm actually serious about getting back on the court and being a contributing player. I want to say shout out to Spencer Dinwiddie as he shot 5 threes, made 4 of them, and that was everything that he did in this game, just being an extremely effective shooter. Cam Thomas looks like he's going to be the starting shooting guard / point guard of this team, and looks like he's actually gonna be the second best player behind Mikal Bridges, as he dropped 26 of this game with 4 threes and 9 of 14 from the field. And this team just looked good. They did pose a fight, but mostly this was just, seeing how the players play. And we saw great performances from a lot of these guys. In the Nets in total, they shot very effectively from all ranges, and you could tell that their biggest strength was just the amount of guys that they have there and the amount of guys who could actually play. And when they brought out even a guy like Lonnie Walker, he put up 14 points. He was a +4 ±. He had 2 steals, an assist, and a rebound, and he was not even starting this game. So when we look at this team and when we look at these players from the Nets, what we can see is a lot of potential and a team which might be very good next season. Nick Claxton shot 3 of 3 from the field, had 4 rebounds in 16 minutes, and had 7 points. And you could really tell that these guys are really doing what they need to do to be the best team that they can next season. When it comes to both of these teams, when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets and the Los Angeles Lakers, what we can really see is that both of them are teams which, even though they reformed themselves last season in terms of their lineup, they are one of the greatest teams, both of them, when it comes to just watchability for the next season. The Lakers, obviously, they're going to be a contender. They have AD and LeBron. They have an extremely deep bench, and they have guys who consistently can play real minutes in playoff games, as we saw last season. For the Nets, they're going to be a young, exciting team which has nothing to lose. They have guys like Mikal Bridges, Ben Simmons, which looked great in his last game, Cam Thomas, and Nick Claxton, which are all going to get minutes and be able to contribute to this team without them having to feel some type of pressure to win. These two teams are really focused on different goals, but in their matchup, we could see the fact that even though both of them are different, they were both really exciting teams with a lot to bring for next season. And in my opinion, that is what I like about the NBA. As I was watching this match, I found myself interested in how LeBron James' body looked, but also at how Cam Thomas was shooting the crap out of the ball. I found myself wondering, look, Gabe Vincent is on the Lakers, but also I found myself seeing, Royce O'Neal is playing, is doing a lot of, the dirty work stuff on the court. So when you really see both of these teams and these preseason games, we're getting a precursor to the next season. And even though these games really don't mean anything to standings or anything, I believe it's a treat to be able to look at these games and just go wow, we have NBA basketball at this time of the year. The season hasn't started, and we can really see teams for what they are when we look at the highlights, when we look at the FU3 that LeBron hit this game, or when we look at Spencer Dinwiddie absolutely lighting it up from three. Tell me what you thought about this game. Tell me what you think about everything. And shout out to Maxwell Lewis because that dunk was crazy.